autism is scary, right? I mean, it's unknown, it's foreign, but not really. 1% of people on this earth have been diagnosed with autism. That's only the people that's been diagnosed. A study done in South Korea said that 2/3 of the people that had autism there didn't even know. So that means that one of your friends could have autism, and you wouldn't even know. My boyfriend has autism. So one day I decided to sit down and talk to him about it. And he told me about all his struggles and what he would like us neurotypicals, or as he calls them, neuronormals, to know. First of all, I want to take this time to say that it is true what they say. You have met one person with autism, and you have met exactly one person with autism. First off, he wants us to know that autistic people are people. Just like that. They should not be treated as unequal or less than anyone else. It seems like common sense, but if you see someone in public stimming or having anxieties due to some sensory overload, it can be hard not to look at them strangely. But it's important to be patient and understanding of their struggles. So let's talk about these things to make them less foreign. Stimming is a self-soothing act or a self-stimulating behavior. In a way, we all have them. They can come in the form of biting our fingernails or tapping our foot, mostly things that are known as bad habits. But for an autistic person, these are a little bit different. They can include hand flapping, bouncing, giggling, bouncing on a knee. It's kind of endless, and it depends on the person. These usually come about when they have been overstimulated by sensories or possibly by their emotions. And my boyfriend describes it kind of like a sneeze or an itch. Like you have to scratch it and you have to sneeze. There's no way to really avoid it. My boyfriend was lucky though. He did have early intervention, and he doesn't display the symptoms of autism as openly anymore due to masking. And not so many people are as lucky, and masking can't solve all of it. So it's still important to realize this. Stimming and anxiety are usually caused by sensory overload and big emotions that they can't really control. Most people with autism are sensitive to some or all of the 5 senses. For example, my boyfriend does not like loud noises, and when he was little, they used to scare him a lot, like a toilet flushing or a truck going by even. He's learned to manage it, but it's still a little bit difficult. He also doesn't like any light touch, as most people with autism don't, like a tag or a face mask even. He hates those. And he does like firmer touch. In fact, those are quite comforting. Firm touch can include hugs, handshakes, holding hands, etc. And he also doesn't like certain textures of some things, like bananas, because they're slimy and they're kind of mushy too. Stimming and anxiety can also happen to overblown emotions, because when you have autism, all of your emotions are augmented. These can happen because people with autism just have their emotions amplified to 3 to 4, even 5 times as much as a normal person. And since he did have early intervention, he has learned to mask all these, and he has grown out of them a little bit, but that's not true for all people with autism. Second, he would like us to know that he does like having autism, and he doesn't need a cure. No one does. He's a fully functioning person who is very comfortable in his own skin, something hard for even a normal person to do. And so it's a little bit offensive to even suggest that he would need a cure for something that makes him so special. He participates in all the extracurricular activities he could, and he's done things like soccer, he does theater and choir, and does quite well at those, in fact. He gets all the roles that he ever wants, and although he's not very good at dancing, he is very comfortable in his own skin, and I'm extremely proud of him for that. That being said, he also doesn't like being treated like a baby or like glass. He is very good at this whole life thing by now, and although some of it's still scary and unknown, that's for everyone, and so he would really like to be treated like a normal person, as does everyone. He doesn't really view himself as having a disability, and honestly, neither do I. Autism isn't really a disability. It's just a difference in brain wirings and a little bit of oversensitivity. I mean, of course, there's other things, but it's not a disability. And the last thing that he'd like us all to know is to just bear with him. Bear with him and all the other people with autism. It's very difficult to live in a world that isn't meant for you. He's still figuring it out, and it's really important for us to see that and have a little bit of compassion and patience. And if you see anything strange, just remember it's okay to ask questions. As long as it's polite and comes from a genuine place of understanding and wanting to know something more, he won't be offended. In fact, it opens up a new conversation about autism and helps to erase stigma around it. So it's nothing but good. So what you have to do is just be patient and remember that they are full people in our society that don't need changing. They are not broken and they do not need to be fixed. We are the lucky ones, not because our brains are wired differently than theirs or because our brains are wired the right way, but because this world that we live in, it was built around us with us in mind. And that is the complete opposite for them. And so, that being said, what we can do is offer compassion and patience and understanding. Next time that you see someone with autism, try to remember all this and keep in mind they are not broken. Thank you.